Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ranger Flame, and welcome everyone to Boruto Naruto Next Generation's episode 53. This is kind of the start of the movie, if you like that. That's kind of what today's episode was, and when we're going into the tuning exam arc, it's literally the movie. Like, mostly this whole entire episode today, if you know what I'm talking about, if you watched the Boruto movie, that's what it was, but a little kind of parts were here and there that we didn't see in the movie. For example, like the big thing in Boruto that we learned is, for example, like there's Denki's character that he wasn't introduced into Boruto whatsoever. We have Samir, which is the class rep. She wasn't in this episode, but still just kind of characters right there, and Iwabe as well. So looking forward to that. We're going to say bits and bits here and there because the only part that we saw in the movie was Metal Leaf fighting, the Sand Ninja Genin, I believe it was, during the second part of the exam, which we'll see more going into, Boruto and the tuning exam arc. But today, it focused on Himawari's birthday. This was kind of like the start of the movie because the big thing in, the past couple episodes now, or just kind of that episode when Boruto had the man-to-man talk with Naruto, and Boruto, he thinks of his sister and his family more than himself. With it, the most important thing was when we got the episode, it was Boruto's birthday, he didn't give a crap if his old man or Naruto showed up at his house whatsoever. He had a man-to-man conversation that if you don't show up for your daughter's birthday, my little sister Himawari's birthday, I will never forgive you and always hate you. And in that episode, which it was really predictable, like I said, if you saw the movie, you knew what was going to go down. They added, bits and parts here that weren't in the movie, like different conversation of Boruto actually talking to Naruto there, like I just talked about in this review. And then I think just the saddest part of today's episode was just like, I knew what was going to happen. It was predictable. Like, I've seen what already happened is, Naruto, he wanted to kind of keep his promise, but he kind of hid it because it was a shadow clone this whole entire time. And it was just so sad of him, lifting his cake, going to the table to celebrate, with his family, with Himawari's birthday, and then the shadow clone disappears and the cake drops on the ground. And it was definitely, like I said, an emotional part. Like, even Boruto was frustrated back and forth, hearing the same excuse, like, Hokage has to protect the whole village, their family or whatever. He's not even focusing on our family right here. Like, kind of screw the other people. The Hidden Leaf is safe. Just come home once in a while, especially on this day. And I'm just thinking of, like, there's a complaints of him talking to Hinata back and forth, but I can't even imagine what Himawari is going through this episode. Boruto's, all pissed off. He doesn't even want to be in the house anymore. Himawari really looks up to Boruto. And then Boruto looks up to Naruto, but since Naruto didn't show up and she doesn't even have a father right there, like, it's literally just a ruined day for her. Like I said, eventually when you grow older, birthdays, it doesn't really matter anymore. It's like here or there, I'm getting older, life sucks, I guess. But when you're a kid, it's just a really special thing to you, especially if you have a dad that's taking over the whole village, or just looking over the whole village is the right term. And, her brother, trying to be a better ninja, which is kind of not gone all the time, but is gone on missions, here or there. So it's definitely, a sad point for her. And I feel like I feel for Himawari this episode because, it was kind of dedicated for her episode here, but it didn't really show a lot of aspects in it. Like I said, it just, if you followed the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Big thing I want to talk about in this episode, though, which it was at the start, is we see Toneri back, which is awesome because if you know Toneri, he was part of the last Naruto the movie, which if you haven't seen that movie, it was one of the best Naruto movies there. We see his, character come back, and, he's the one that gave Boruto, that special eye that we've seen at the start of Boruto, and we haven't seen it since, but now it is coming back here again. We haven't officially seen it, but it's giving us hints that Boruto is going to have that power again, which is so freaking awesome. We get, a deep little coverage of, Toneri's, clan actually coming to him on the moon. That's kind of where he was hidden from his clan to help Boruto and even Earth in general. And, we see his Tutsuki clan, if I am saying that correctly. I'm not really too sure. But, one of the members finally finds him. and afterwards he kind of puts them in like this kind of time freeze magic. You know, their kind of clan rule is not to kill, you know, a member of their clan, even though if they deserted us like Toneri did with them, but even though they are the villains and Toneri's helping them out, or like Earth and Himawari, you know, just Naruto's family in general, you kind of know my point right there. So we're at a point where now he can't help Boruto, and Boruto's not strong enough that he's going to eventually face something, you know, dangerous and evil someday, which, you know, he definitely needs to get strong as a character. And, you know, in the movie we've seen him firstly going to learn the Rasengan. That's going to be a next episode's review. We actually see Sasuke this episode as well, which, like I said, it's a predictable thing. This kind of whole episode was kind of going more towards the movie, like I said, bits and pieces here or there. So we get to see Sasuke back, which is awesome. We haven't seen him since, I'm pretty sure, the Sarada arc, if you want to call it that. So it's really cool seeing his character. You know, everyone's a big Sasuke fan. I'm a big Sasuke fan. I love Sasuke. So we're definitely going to see a lot more of him and Boruto, which is awesome because we rarely see his character a lot. So that's great. And really just more about this episode was, you know, kind of Boruto not trying to be a Chunin. He doesn't care about being a Chunin or a Jonin. He kind of wants to be someone like Sasuke, where, you know, he's out of the village, he's doing his own thing and being a greater ninja. That's kind of what Boruto wants to go through his route. But then, you know, Sarada basically convinced him to go a part of the Chunin exam. Because knowing Boruto's character, he wants to, you know, surprise his dad. You know, he wants his dad to acknowledge him of what he has for power. And, you know, the Chunin exam is the perfect way to do it. Because if you make it to the final, there's going to be that big spectator seat. I'm talking about the original Naruto Chunin exams. Still a great arc, by the way. I can go back watching that, and it's still one of the best episodes ever. Naruto vs. Neji, you know, Gaara vs. Sasuke, you know what I'm talking about. But, you know, when it gets to that point, you know, Boruto really wants to, you know, show off to his dad. And the last thing that information, or I guess that we got in today's episode, was Susuke, if I'm saying that right, the scientist dude. I'm trying to remember his name. Literally, I have it wrote down on a piece of paper because I don't know how to say his name. But the scientist dude comes in. Like I said, it's part of the movie. I know I'm saying that a lot in this review, but that's kind of what we're going to be getting, like probably 10 or maybe 11 episodes of Boruto is going to be the Chunin exam arc. Well, it is going to be the Chunin exam arc, but mostly the movie as well. So, you know, we get him coming in with, you know, these gauntlets, you know, this bracelet. If you put these little tiny scrolls into the gauntlet, it could actually use a jutsu, and he showed like some sort of wind jutsu, you know, to Naruto and Shikamaru, that instead of, you know, these kids, these gang having to go through harsh training and even potentially die, it's better to use this because it doesn't take really that much chakra. It's literally just a scroll that has chakra in it and uses it, and it's powerful. But knowing Naruto and from his age, and, you know, you do agree on this, is you gotta put hard work in. Even if you're gonna die, you know, you gotta be prepared to go into this ninja life, because being a ninja is not easy whatsoever. You know, if you eventually get to that Chunin Jonin level, you're gonna be risking your life going on missions every single day. And, you know, it's kind of like a cheat sheet system, if you look at it. So Naruto doesn't agree about that, and Shikamaru doesn't as well, which is kind of a good thing, because, you know, if they literally just use this the whole entire time, then what's the point of even making Boruto or anything like that? But, you know, we get more of that if you watch the movie, episodes, blah, blah, blah. You heard me rambling that thing every single time. But yeah, that was today's episode of Boruto. I wouldn't really say it's a bad episode. Like, I'm looking at this again because it's been a while since I've watched the movie. And, you know, it was not that bad. Like, you know, some parts in it that we get some dialogue I did enjoy. Like I said, it was predictable much of the time of this scene happening and this scene happening. But it's good to kind of have a refresh again. If you look at it, it's not really recap. It's not that at all. It's kind of new going through the story. But yeah, I did enjoy it. But, you know, since if I didn't see, like, the movie, or if you guys haven't seen the movie whatsoever, you know, I feel like this is going to be definitely a good episode for you. But, you know, if you've seen it already and know what's going to happen, it's kind of like, this is here, all that. So I feel like with this episode today, guys, I'm really just going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. You know, it wasn't bad. Like I said, if you guys haven't watched the movie, it definitely would be probably a 7-8 mark. But if you watched it like I am and know what I'm talking about, it's going to be really down for you, because it's like, oh, I've seen this already. Hope you guys all enjoyed my review of episode 53 of Boruto here today. We'll see you guys next week for, of course, episode 54. It's going to be really interesting because anime watchers only, or haven't seen the movie, it's going to be definitely a surprise for you of Boruto learning some new jutsu, which if you've seen the preview, you know what I'm talking about, but I don't really want to put any spoilers, but it's going to be good of how they do it and maybe something different from the movie. But we'll see you guys next week for another review. Much love, guys, and hope you all have yourselves a wonderful day.